It's time for some motherfucking Nerd Cave news. I got 3 drinks over here going on right now. I got a fucking Coca-Cola, I got a Key Lime Clear American, and I got fucking coffee. I don't know what the hell's going on in my life. Hello everybody, my name is Show Skills and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are gonna fucking be hanging out. We're gonna have a great time. Today we're gonna be doing Nerd Cave News. You knew that already. Nerd Cave News is my live show. For those of you who don't know what it is, for those of you who are coming into the stream for the first time, it is a live show that I do on this channel where we react to news in the gaming space, the tech space, and anything having to do with nerdy stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, welcome to the freaking stream. I hope you're having a good time. We're gonna do great things here. And that being said, welcome to the stream. Microsoft's secret plastic Surface Duo leaks on eBay. Microsoft was reportedly planning to launch a more affordable plastic version of the Surface Duo 2, and images appear to have leaked on eBay on the device. Windows Central reports that Microsoft canceled this mysterious mid-range version of the Surface Duo 2 in late 2021 after reportedly originally planning to launch it as a cheaper model later the year. It looks bad. It's always looked bad. I don't know. The Surface Duo has always been a weird product for me. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, one, Windows is such a crap software. The only reason that people like Apple is because they always have a stable software. Like, I have never met somebody who uses Mac and says, oh, this software's shit, like you shouldn't use it, or it's not working today, like you shouldn't use it. Apple does a lot of beta testing on their softwares before they send it out and make sure that it's gonna work on a lot of their product lines. And they don't discontinue a product unless they know for sure that it's not gonna work on their product line. Mobile Windows is god-awful. And so I know this is running Android, but Android has a pretty hard time because Android, especially now, like Pixel, that's it. That's all that gets like the cleanest, most viewable, usable form of Android. Like if there are kinks in Android, Pixel and Samsung are gonna get it first, and that's just like get the fixes first. Whereas like something like a fucking Surface Duo 2 or a Xiaomi or anything like that just isn't gonna get it. So like this fucking Windows skin over Android is just, it's crap. There are better dual screen phones out there. They have a really nice hinge, but that's about it. If you're like a professional, and this kind of PD, like an old ass professional at this point, like a 50, 60, 70 year old, and this reminds you of like a PDA, go for it. I could not ever get behind a Surface Duo. I don't think I would ever make it my daily driver. That's just kind of what it is. So GM announces plans to build coast-to-coast network of 2,000 EV chargers at truck stops. So this is for Flying J. It's a company that's essentially just a bunch of truck stops. Installed at up to 500 truck stops and travel centers, capable of offering speeds of 350 kilowatts, 750 million in total for EV charging infrastructure. That's good. I'm all about more chargers. I'm really all about like building a better charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. It doesn't seem to say that this is just for GM trucks. EV Go, I don't know what EV Go is. It looks to offer a bunch of chargers for a bunch. So essentially it looks like it's just gonna be a service, just like any of the other ones, like Electrify America and Tesla chargers. Just a different type of charger. So that's good. I think, yeah, that's going to be a lot of new chargers and give more access to people and more range to people who necessarily didn't have it before. That's always a good thing. I think building that infrastructure like you would build more gas stations is extremely important to make it a more viable option for people to purchase electric or hybrids. I know the next vehicle that I purchase, now that I've completely paid off my Civic, I know the next vehicle that I purchase is probably going to be a hybrid. Not that I'm planning on buying a new car anytime soon, but that is probably, you know, this is a good thing. So that even though I live in like a really heavily populated city right now, like if I ever move to like offsite somewhere, like I could get back to a city or get to where my parents are, or, you know, travel. Just allows for more driver safety, driver forethought. So, you know, that's just nice to have. I love shitting on Elon Musk. Here we go. Starlink's massive growth results in congestion, slow speeds for some users. I think Starlink is a good thing, by the way. Don't get me wrong. This is not like Tesla or like Elon Musk buying Twitter, in my opinion. And this is a net benefit for society to create like better internet infrastructure. Starlink has received praise for delivering high-speed broadband to rural areas across the world, but this past week, Wisconsin resident Lindsey Berghagen has decided to rage quit SpaceX's satellite internet system out of sheer frustration. The reason? Her Starlink internet service has slowed down to a crawl, making it difficult to get any work done. It was really fast for the first few months, and then it got predictably bad every single day, said Berghagen. Decided to switch back to her previous ISP. That is not fast at all, just so you guys know. That is horrendous. That's just bad. Obviously, they need to get a better system in place. Obviously, their infrastructure isn't fully built out yet. But yeah, I mean, they don't have a lot of coverage. They have like a lot of availability right now, but they don't have a whole lot of coverage. Like obviously this is the area where it's available, but like what are they bouncing off of? How many satellites do they have in the air? How many satellites can they put in the air without like holding back science? So these are all thought processes that people have to go through when they consider buying Starlink. And it's one of those things for me where it's like it's hard, right, to like justify what ISP you use when in the end of the day you've got like either one option that's like really well integrated into society already, or you've got another option that could like get you off of everybody else's network and get you higher speeds theoretically, but they don't have the infrastructure to give it to you. The main problem that I had with my ISP back when I lived in Flagstaff, Arizona, was the fact that yeah, I had 400 down and I had 20 up, and it was great when it worked. But when it didn't work, I mean, it was the most frustrating thing on the planet. I mean, the last 4 months of me living in Flagstaff, I called the ISP provider and had a mechanic or a service provider come out and like fix my internet, because like I live stream twice a week. Like I need it. And obviously I had other things. I was video conferencing for a bunch of other things, and there was more things than just that. My wife not being able to watch Netflix at dinner is a complex problem. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, no, it's a difficult thing to have to deal with. So ISP is just not pulling their weight, and obviously you need to build infrastructure for that. And I think anybody who wants to build the infrastructure for stuff like that is huge, and I appreciate them. Let's see what else we got. Microsoft has long been a critic of the FCC's broadband maps, and today the cloud giant released its own new interactive tool to help identify places in the United States that are unserved and underserved. The tool was created by Microsoft's Chief Data Science Officer, CDSO, Juan La Vista Ferez, and the Microsoft AI for Good Lab. It aggregates public data from the Census Bureau, the FCC, Broadband Now, and Microsoft's own broadband usage. It goes census tract by census tract, examining 20 different indicators of digital equity, such as broadband access, usage, education, and poverty rates. This data provides an aggregated score of digital inequity in the community, said its tool is necessary. Okay, so essentially they built a tool so that they could essentially show the FCC, be like, here's the fucking lack of internet that you have. Please fix these locations so that we can better service the product here. Because I'm sure plenty of like different websites and services like Adobe and stuff like that get constant calls of like, oh, my internet's crashing. Why are you crashing my internet? And it's like, this is your ISP. Like, fuck off. So Microsoft apparently developed a tool. I'm very curious what this tool is called. Microsoft Power BI. Let's see my Arizona one. So this is the map for Arizona, right? So I live in Phoenix. Obviously, we're pretty well served here. This is where I used to live. Pretty decent service. This, I think, is where the Marine base is at. So, of course, it wouldn't have all that information. This is just kind of dead space. This is a bunch of agricultural area. So they don't really need that much internet connection. It's just not a lot of data for them to work with there. But overall, like this is like Tucson and the Phoenix metropolitan and like Flagstaff has a big college town in it. Like the major metropolitan areas are really well served, but if you look in the corner of the map, and this is most of the Native American reservations, if you look at a lot of these, they'll say Apache County. So this is the Apache Reservation, this is the Navajo Reservation as well. A lot of these places are extremely underserved. And so developing ways, and Starlink is one of those opportunities, right? To develop ways to get ISPs to actually aggregate here and like build infrastructure here is huge. And that's kind of the whole point, right? And obviously you can come and grab this tool from Microsoft and see how your state stacks up. But it's just kind of it's annoying how crappy this has gotten and how quickly it has innovated, you know. And so that's kind of the discussion here. Waiting for the FCC is getting fucking annoying, and wanting to build infrastructures to help benefit you is kind of the idea. So yeah. Nikon will reportedly join Canon in ending development of high-end DSLR cameras. Oh, I think I get where this is going. The Canon maker Nikon will discontinue further development of its single lens reflex camera lineup, leaving the longtime professional standbys behind the shifting its efforts to smaller mirrorless models. So essentially, this is just the development of, hey, we are no longer making our DSLR cameras. We are focusing solely on the mirrorless realm and getting way better at that because that technology is the evolution of the camera platform, which I don't disagree with. And this essentially tells all the 1DX Mark III users and D5 users to get with the program and buy a mirrorless. Obviously, they have like a bunch of options from a lens standpoint for professional lenses in the SLR space, but like, yeah, the technology is in mirrorless. So Nikon reportedly joining Canon and leaving. Sony has already left. I'm using a Sony camera right now. It's all mirrorless. And it's so great. I honestly, having gone from Canon DSLR to Sony mirrorless, it's been an excellent experience. The autofocus has been phenomenal. The technology is there. So finishing the DSLR race, right, is just calling it quits and just moving on to the better technology and focusing on making those products better, which I think Nikon and Canon have failed to do. So I think that's the big part there, right? I think understanding that Nikon and Canon are both behind in the mirrorless race now, especially behind Panasonic and especially behind Sony. And so now they're getting to a point where they have to speed up those technologies for themselves and make sure that they are on par. I think a lot of Canon's recent new releases, like the R5, the R6, the R3, are all, and the R7 and the R1 are actually all really good examples as well of like good cameras that are starting to compete with Sony. They have some minor things to work on. I think Canon has lost the autofocus battle. I think Sony is dominating it right now. They're clawing their way back, but in my opinion, Canon autofocus isn't what it used to be. And they, need to learn from Sony's playbook. Nikon is apparently fixing their autofocus for their newer cameras, meaning the Z9. But we'll see what happens when they adapt that into their newer models. Specifically when they re-release the Z7 III and then the Z6 III. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the camera space develops over time. And I hope that it goes well for them because I obviously want as much competition as possible in the environment. So, yeah. Intel, of course, said on Thursday, it's starting informing customers of its plan to raise prices for many of its chip products due to rising costs, a move that the company has first hinted at in its first quarter earnings call on April 28th. The price increase could come into effect in autumn, and the percentage increases are likely to range from a minimal single-digit increase to more than 10 to 20% in some cases. Good Christ! The product hikes have not been finalized yet, but it would cover Intel's flagship products such as central processing units for servers and computers, as well as items including chips for Wi-Fi and other connectivity. The report says on Thursday, Intel's move come amid a supply chain crisis triggered by the pandemic that has derived makers of personal computers and smartphones and cars. Yeah, that's a problem, guys. But yeah, so they're essentially gonna raise prices of their flagship products. So this means like your i9s, your Xeon processors, your Pro processors, all the server grade stuff, Wi-Fi chips, etc. You probably won't see them get super non-competitive in the like consumer market, like the i5s, the i7s, that kind of stuff. You won't probably see like a big percentage increase. But be on the look. I mean, this is Intel making a fucking mistake again. This is Intel literally saying, you know what? We competed with AMD for a little bit, and now we're not making the profit margins we used to like making, so we're going to go back to our ways because people have migrated back to Intel because they think we're reliable. And AMD never really conquered the like Best Buy market of computer buyer, right? They never really conquered the like mid-range laptops. they kind of let Intel still reign that market, and like where Ryzen kind of became the go-to for creators like me and people who build DIYs, right? I didn't notice any AMD products. I did not notice any AMD chipsets in any of those laptops. It was pretty much all dominated by Intel. So Intel being able to still run those spaces allows them to put this market back into place because they don't have to be competitive in the DIY space because the DIY space is evolving to maybe not existing in 5 to 10, which is kind of annoying. But we'll see what happens. UK government demands game companies protect children from loot boxes, but stops short of legislation. The Department of Culture, Media, and Sport says that loot box customers are more likely to suffer gambling-related harms. The UK government has today told the games industry it must take action on loot boxes or risk future legislation. In particular, it says children and young people should not be able to buy loot boxes without parental consent. However, it's allowing game industry to regulate itself for now. The Department of Digital Culture, Media, and Sports, the DCMS, launched a call for evidence on loot boxes in 2020 and found that players who purchase loot boxes are more likely to experience gambling, mental health, financial, and problematic gaming-related harms. But it did not explicitly conclude that loot boxes are the same as gambling. This kind of blows back to the discussion that we were having about like Twitch streamers gambling and stuff like that a couple weeks ago. And so, long story short, I think this is a good step in making it safer for young kids. So, like, if I make the stupid fucking decision to go out and buy a fuck ton of loot boxes, just like gambling is legal in a lot of states, gambling should be legal for adults, right? But the problem is we have the Fortnite boxes, we have the fucking CSGO boxes, we have all of these games that aren't helpful to children and being marketed to children. Creating problematic tendencies in those kids. And so that's the big part, right? But yeah, the government's taking action on this kind of thing and making it so that loot boxes can't be something that, you know, a kid can just like get their parents' credit card one time and spend $1 jillion on, you know? It was one, my parents put a credit card on my Xbox and I had to share my Xbox. This is what I told my parents. This is why you can't let your siblings share your game consoles. I was very against my parents making me share my game consoles with my siblings. And this is because I was an adult. I was 17 fucking years old and the other two were very small. And so I said, I don't want to do this because you guys have your credit cards linked. I have important information on here that they could just leak to whoever they want. Like, they could get online and talk to nerds. Like, we don't want that. And so my brother got on my Xbox and he played, I want to say some weird Minecraft side game. It wasn't like Minecraft itself or Bedrock version. It was, this is back in the day. This is like Minecraft Origins or something like that. Some weird like role-playing game. But they had a bunch of fucking skins in it for like a story-based game. He purchased like 10 of them. And my parents' credit card, thank God mine wasn't, but my parents' credit card was attached to it at the time. And he spent like $400. This has to stop. Like, having to enter a code, having to like verify with a parent to like purchase things in a game for you allows them to structuralize making good financial decisions. And I think this is really important. I think the UK government is taking a good step in like being like putting the fucking game community on notice, being like, stop doing this, stop manipulating young minds to make this a reality. And so I think this is a good thing. But yeah, so that's kind of that. I think that's where we're going to end today because that kind of goes a little bit far back in the gaming news segment of like what's hot on Reddit. Thank you so much for watching the Nerd Cave News. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification so you know when I go live, when you know when I post videos or shorts or anything like that. Go ahead and do all those things. Check out the Discord link in the description down below so that you guys can join the community, talk about the stuff that we talk about on Nerd Cave News or any other videos I post. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.